NRG against that same Torrent squad that swept them in upper round one achieves. What's different today as opposed to yesterday?
Well, I guess the one thing you could say is NRG scoring a few more goals, but can't say I'm super jazzed about all the defense they had to play in their previous series. Hopefully they find a way to continue to box Torrent in on the other side. Otherwise, could be in for another long series that's a lot tougher than they'd like it to be.
Well, they are scoring more today, but not a whole lot more. Remember, they only scored 4 goals in the series with Torrent yesterday. They scored 8 against FaZe Clan, but that 14-minute overtime kept them stymied for a while. Kinsey gets the opening goal here for Torrent, and now if you're an NRG fan, you got to be wondering, wait a minute, is there just some kind of mental block with Torrent here?
Just a tough break there off the backboard for NRG. I mean, Justin kind of jumping on the goal line, hoping that his teammate up the back wall was going to find the clear, but that rock-solid defense from NRG seeming to break down at least a little bit at the start. So in the hole early, but a lot of time left. We'll see what the offense has to offer here.
Torrent looked hotter than just about anybody yesterday during the first couple of rounds in the upper bracket, outscoring their opponents 8-4 and then 12-4 over version 1. As Justin will play one indirect for himself, got around Kinsey. And Zanil right out towards Kinsey. Quickly downfield goes Torrent again. Only one man to beat it, Squishy. And he makes the stop. Squishy made plenty of saves earlier against FaZe Clan, as did Justin, really as did everybody for NRG. The defense really stepped up as Kinsey's shot goes right at Squishy. He'll get an easy one there. And Zanil coming on, almost powered it through. Magic Bear missed it high. It was an open net that nobody was going to get to on the save, but a lucky break for NRG, and now they're trying to punish Torrent for it. But Zanil will take this away, going right at Squishy again, and this time Squishy's second best. It's Zanil against Garrett G, and Garrett dishes that off to the corner. Well done by the NRG defense.
Torrent doing an awesome job so far at managing the challenge game. Little dodge of a demo right there. Squishy, second chance for Justin. Out and across. Nobody home for it. Garrett G way back at the midfield line. Definitely not ready to go forward there. But Torrent, you gotta love how they're manipulating NRG and taking some challenges that are certainly not going their way. It's given them a lot of good opportunities, but Kinsey going to find himself here in the 1-on-2 with at least Magic Bear to break it up briefly.
Kinsey will drop this off to the corner and got around Justin. You gotta wonder, what is the deal with NRG against top teams like FaZe? They look incredible. Against other teams, not so much. And far be it from me to give a whole lot of credence to the so-called armchair analysts of Reddit, but there was one great comment on the forum today that kind of likened it to their experience as a tennis player. Sometimes you play to the level of your competition, and it's a tough habit to break. As Magic Bear got one through, Zanil off the demo. Easy stop by Garrett G, who parked it right in front of the goal line. And he'll challenge Zanil as well. Justin on his way up, Squishy way back, waiting to see what Justin does. He's going headhunting after Kinsey, and Squishy will reset for NRG. It's a very patient play for the general NRG, but it doesn't yield any quality shots. Instead, it's Kinsey denied by Garrett G.
Really nice structure there from NRG on defense. Now with Chris crossing up the pitch, and they're going to string a couple of passes together. What a pass and shot. Great transition. Spreading the field, never giving an opportunity for anyone on Torrent to even look at breaking that play up. And a bullet all the way to the far post takes it away from the defense. Great equalizer.
That is as pretty as it gets. And now Squishy following this through off the kickoff, but Kinsey will lob one netward that Garrett G has to control. Kinsey has been very active on that NRG back line, trying to force them into mistakes. Doesn't happen often. Now Justin, Magic Bear thought about it. That little hesitation's gonna cost him. He's really in a tough spot. Kinsey didn't get the stop on Garrett G, and that little hesitation deep in the corner let NRG just walk all over Torrent.
Yeah, big win from Justin, and Magic Bear trying to figure out where he needs to go, and that as well with 2 people missing the same ball up above the backboard. That's just a mistake you can't stand if you're Torrent, and NRG is certainly happy enough to punish you for it. That's kind of the unfortunate thing, even with NRG kind of limping as they've looked in the previous couple of games and maybe even yesterday. You never can afford to just make a mistake and miss the touch on defense.
Well, when Garrett G's mind is set on something, he will not stop until he accomplishes it. Before it was lifting a trophy, now it's tearing apart rotisserie chicken. Justin denied by Zanil, and now Squishy deep into the corner again. More time wasted by NRG, stopping Torrent from moving downfield. That miss by Magic Bear is not going to help matters any. And NRG just kind of patiently waiting on their own back line, waiting for Torrent to mount any kind of a threat. This is deflected away. Kinsey doing all he can to control, with Magic Bear coming in behind him. And Magic Bear with the rebound will score to tie it with 43 to go.
Oh, look at Kinsey manage this challenge. They realized they were kind of rushing their play earlier. This time they stick right behind the ball. And, oh, Garrett G, little double commit on the goal line as well. Means he's kind of flat-footed as he's landing because he can't afford to get demoed by Kinsey coming through. That pressure in the challenge game from Torrent net them a late equalizer, and I don't think Kinsey is going to have anything off that bounce. It's just going to be Justin, and of course I'm wrong. He's going to win another one.
After scoring 20 goals as a team yesterday in part of an explosive offensive performance that got them deep into the upper bracket, only 2 goals today before this series as they were shut down by G2. Torrent getting it going again, as Garrett G will bank one out for himself. Squishy in behind him. Garrett G tried to take it himself. Now it's only Justin to beat as Zanil put one downfield. Opportunity to send it for Magic Bear. He's peeled off though, so Kinsey is going to come up again. No, he's called off by Magic Bear. Demo by Zanil. And demo by Magic Bear. And oh, it dies on the goal line.
Torrent going to be kicking themselves. It wasn't 100% open, but it did require a little bit more pace than that. Kind of chickened out of really trying to rip one through the defense. Maybe Zanil can make up for it. Squishy going to lend Justin a helping hand over his shoulder, but see if that one comes back to haunt them in this overtime.
Zanil out of the corner, going to slow play instead of going for the big booming clear. And Justin just launches right back in. Zanil there to redirect around Squishy. Kinsey waiting downfield. It's Magic Bear shot off the crossbar. And it almost ended at the 32nd mark of OT. Now Kinsey going after Justin. He backs into the net to avoid contact. And now it's Garrett G to counter for NRG. Everybody going to get boosted up now for the general. But Squishy misses this ball. So it's Magic Bear taking it himself. And Garrett G again repels the attack.
Really got to be worried if you're an NRG fan. You don't want to see NRG having to constantly play the boom ball and chase it down. You'd like to see him start stringing a couple challenges together in the midfield instead of constantly push, recall, push, recall. This time they get caught on the recall. Zanil's going to close it down 1 minute into OT. Not a bad touch from Garrett G, but Justin, don't even think he saw Zanil camping over there, and I think he just got caught sleeping.
Well, NRG's played plenty of overtime today just by virtue of that one game against FaZe, and now a minute extra added onto the overtime tally. But it's Torrent that takes the first game, and Torrent's success against NRG continues. Make it 4 wins in a row now against the top squad, or one of the top squads in North America. And now we look at the Mobile One high performance replay and see, look, it was a showcase, but especially team pressure out of Torrent. It was first opportunities for NRG, second and third chances for Torrent that lead them to victory.
Big shots as well for both teams. 13 for NRG, and that's 11 for Torrent. I don't really remember even seeing NRG get that many shots strung together in a row, but it really did feel like Torrent started to at least constantly get the ball out of their own half quite easily, and that's not something you see very often against a team like NRG. Generally, I felt like their midfield's pretty strong, but gonna have to make an adjustment here in game 2, obviously. So we'll see. It's not that NRG's playing bad, it's just the challenges certainly are not going their way, but this is a best of 7, and as they mentioned on the desk, they do make really solid adjustments as the series goes on, so I think a 7 definitely plays towards NRG's favor rather than Torrent's.
This is only the 5th main event for Torrent this season. The first with this roster. Garrett G will have one right out to Justin, who could not send that any further downfield. Magic Bear trying to capitalize on the turnover, and Justin clears this right down the middle. And Kinsey and Torrent will bring it right back in. That's finally the clear that NRG was looking for. Magic Bear, good quick read. He's around Justin. He's got Kinsey way back across the way, so Zanil has to come up, going after Justin, and another proactive clear out of Justin. Squishy going after Magic Bear, and that's great patience out of Magic Bear, making the stop, avoiding contact, And now here goes Kinsey for Torrent, met by Squishy.
Really high pressure scenarios for both teams, and both of them doing a real nice job to work out of it. Magic Bear wants to chop it down. Squishy easy clear. Now's really where you need to see NRG start to set up the tent a little bit. You got to win these challenges. Garrett G going to do just that, 2 in a row, and Squishy just going to try and keep it in the mix, and that's going to buy a lot of time for NRG to actually get boost, get set up here in the midfield, and see if they can put together now.
Zanil, on another day, that might have been too far away from him on the first touch, but NRG playing way back. Almost like they're trying to bait Torrent downfield just a little bit, and Torrent not really biting. Zanil. Indirect, taken away by Justin. Magic Bear happened to be in the right place at the right time to make the save. Around Squishy, Zanil, wide turn. There's the pass to Kinsey, and a 1-0 lead.
They catch NRG, trying to get a little cheeky. If that's a win from Squishy, it's Torrent who's on the back foot, not going to be able to handle this one. Garrett G honestly took his best guess, thought maybe the flick was going to go towards the net, saw it was the pass. No way he was going to have time to recover. Nice job weaving through the defense. Torrent score first in game 2, and they might get a second one. Magic Bear drops it. Garrett G can't hit it either. Kinsey collects. Thank you very much. And Garrett G is like, dude, you got to hit the ball here. Come on. That's not on me. You're making me look bad by missing the ball.
Oh, once again, a quick stretch of goals out of Torrent. And now they've opened up a 2-0 lead here on Aquadome. 2 goals, 6 seconds apart. Magic Bear. Flip, reset, Squishy blocked him, but Magic stayed with the play. And now Zanil going to have his hands full trying to get a second touch. He can't, so Justin will just launch a shot, try and generate a rebound, but Kinsey is not interested at all. This is going to be Zanil, not booming downfield, instead playing that possession game, and that's been that kind of slow, methodical approach. It's been an adjustment for Zanil to make, he said, when he was talking with Wavepunk and presumably Turtle with their broadcast on Friday. Or rather, during the close quals, this has popped up, and Kinsey will send it away.
You're definitely right. Zanil has certainly had to make a few adjustments, but as I alluded to a little bit earlier on the broadcast today, ooh, big chance here. That's a nice bump from Justin. Going to take a big bite out of Zanil on the goal line. He was positioned well. Torrent in general not in too bad of a spot here, but the missed touch from Kinsey definitely going to make it a lot more difficult, and NRG just making sure to dot their I's and cross their T's to get themselves back into this one.
Oh, they are halfway there, just after the halfway mark.
Oh, they might get one.
Yeah, Zanil on the kickoff. Oh, he tried to go through the ball there and try and maybe block an oncoming defender. That didn't work out. And Kinsey doing all he can just to get a touch and not leave that easily for Justin. Squishy with the slow play. This pops right out to Garrett G. Looking for Justin coming on. And Zanil read the play well, stayed with it. Now Kinsey send one off to the side. There's Zanil and another ball netward that NRG has to deal with. It's Squishy at the back this time with Zanil waiting. Now Kinsey coming on, and he maybe got caught spectating a little too much. Magic Bear will just stop this in its tracks, though, and then dance around Squishy.
And I'm starting to kind of realize, I think, what makes Torrent a much more difficult team for NRG to play against than they normally do. I mean, NRG for... Oh, what?
Yeah, I think NRG's figured it out. Just have Garrett do this. How many touches? Are you kidding me?
Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, that's decent. Tie game.
Okay. That's one way to tie it up.
Yeah,
what a goal from
that's
Garrett
one that
G.
just broke out the clipboard and said, hey, Garrett, just do this.
Drive against the wall and just bounce it off the wall to yourself a few times. It'll get through. But Torrent in general,
it kind of felt like it was Torrent that was scoring those goals yesterday in that series with NRG, and now all of a sudden NRG maybe having some of that go their way.
It's certainly possible. And the biggest hurdle for NRG has really been finding ways to execute on that game plan that they usually like to have, you know, just chip it off the wall, go for some misdirection on your touch, make sure you beat the next person in line. And that's not really the type of challenges that Torrent are going for on their defensive half. They're kind of saying, yeah, we're just going to let you bring the ball and we'll go when we absolutely have to. And that closes down a lot of opportunities when NRG can't find a good read on what you're actually trying to do with your challenge, because they're saying, we're just going to let you hit the ball at us. And you're going to have to make something happen with not a lot of space. And that's been quite tough to execute on for NRG, with the exception of course, Garrett G hitting that. I don't even know how he did that.
You know, sometimes you just call it magic. This is out of the corner, and Magic Bear is the only one back to defend as it skips back into the Torrent half. Down to 20 seconds. This game feels like it's flown by, kind of like game one did. And here we are with a similar scoreline coming down to the end of regulation. A 0-second effort from Torrent in game one died right at the goal line. And then the overtime winner from Zenil gave Torrent this 1-0 lead they're enjoying. Kinsey coming on. No time on the clock now, but it will bounce. And Justin just plays one away, and Torrent happy to just take this to OT again, looking for similar magic. It took 61 seconds in game one. Zenil has other plans, but Squishy got that away from him. And Zenil couldn't get that touch to pop one out to Magic Bear. Justin intercepted by Kinsey. Nobody else up, though, so Garrett G had to turn away because of the bump effort. And it's Justin with boost and ball, and that's a dangerous concept. And Zenil still met him at the ceiling.
Gotta love that positioning from Torrent here in the midfield, and NRG forcing themselves to get physical to open up a little extra space to operate. Kind of a mistouch from Garrett G, but look at them improvise, stitch it back together, get it back in a position that's at least playable. And Zenil, big save from Squishy. Kinsey, no way. Tough ask, and look at him just manage the challenge. Don't lose the ball is the idea for Torrent. They're not trying to score it, just not allowing a dangerous counterattack, and they've managed that.
That NRG net was looking awfully inviting, but nobody could put the ball through. And now Garrett G over to Justin, and the longtime duo don't connect on a goal this time, as we hit the same point where Torrent scored in game one's overtime. Kinsey downfield to Magic Bear, but Garrett G got in the way. Magic Bear going after Justin, couldn't get him. And now Zenil high to the corner, and Justin beat him all day. Now Magic Bear, good first touch, allowed him to follow this up, but Squishy's a little bit faster. Magic Bear still downfield, and Garrett G, recognizing the immediacy of the situation, able to get on this, start the attack quickly, and Zenil's kind of thrown one away. Justin to take advantage. NRG looking to end this one in OT, but not quite. Kinsey there ahead of Garrett G.
Ooh, and Squishy, you see, he's just trying to get Zenil to jump off the wall and give him something, and Zenil's like, what? What are you gonna do? Hit the ball at me, and Squishy's like, I can't actually make a play if you don't give me an option. And that's been so tough for NRG to crack.
Almost like they're trying to capitalize on the mistakes of, let's face it, on paper, the lesser team. And that team is not making those mistakes. Zenil dumped one back where Kinsey can play, trying to get around Justin, and Justin with a great demo on his way back. And then Zenil had to choose boost or ball. He chose the ball. Justin takes the ball from him. Squishy's got that boost pad that he gave up. And now Justin looking for Garrett G, deflected away by Magic Bear. Oh, Justin to Squishy, and he did not connect. And that boost pad not there for Zenil. Intercept by Justin, trying to dive on one, and Magic Bear playing that low around. Now Garrett G, all the time in the world, and he couldn't do anything with it. Squishy shot denied by Magic Bear. Kinsey on his horse, can't get it. Justin will score. Series tied.
So they did a really nice job holding off NRG for a while. The problem became they started losing some of their boosts, and then they just got strapped too far and weren't actually able to make plays across the pitch and stay with NRG, and NRG as well starting to get a little more equalized on some of those challenges, certainly sticking the ball in that blue half a little bit more. That's what you wanted to see out of them. And Torrent, try as they might, just lost the boost battle there at the end of OT, and indeed 1-1 here in the best of 7.
That stops the win streak for Torrent dead in its tracks against the general NRG, as they score 3 unanswered goals to erase that 2-goal deficit. It kind of happened in a hurry. And Torrent now has to kind of go back to the drawing board and wonder, all right, now how do we answer back after a loss to NRG? How do we answer back when Garrett's scoring like that, as he did to tie up the game? And now 1-1 tie series. Remember, best of 7s now as we get deeper into the tournament. So, you know, that pop-off potential for a team like Torrent, not as valuable as consistency over time like NRG tends to have.
And I do think the game plan for Torrent really is make sure you have your own boost. Don't get starved out. That's fine. If we get demoed, that's okay. We're not playing a super aggressive style and trying to catch NRG too far forward or something like that. They are trying to play as conservative and safe as possible. And NRG's really got to come at them with some heat on the offense. Some big outplays and placing the ball in some awkward spots. And if they really want to have a chance to consistently break down that Torrent defense, because there were a couple goals that I'm kind of just like, I don't know if you can count on that all the time. And Torrent just seeing if they can win a few challenges when they're forward, and if they do, that's fine by them. If their mindset certainly appears to be, if it's within one, it's winnable.
NRG is going to be just mentally and probably physically tired at the end of this series. Their last 3 games have combined to last a total of 32 and a half minutes. Again, with the 14-minute overtime with FaZe to close out that series, these 2 games going into overtime. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the 3rd game between Torrent and NRG yesterday was a 5 or 6 minute overtime. So there is not much to separate Torrent and NRG. Did not think that was a sentence I would utter at the start of this split. Justin shot off the post. Garrett G skies one up there. He's got Squishy coming in behind. Kinsey jumps in the way, and it's all Justin's ball here if he can get to it with a full tank of boost. It just launches one in the middle of the field, intercepted by Kinsey, but Garrett G is there to control.
And Justin launches that because he sees Zanil driving at him aggressively in the midfield. Now, Justin knows he's going to win the ball, but he also wants to make sure that they keep possession. And so Zanil, as soon as he sees Justin start boosting towards that, he instantly peeled off because he knew he was just there to apply pressure and force NRG to show their hand. And he knew he had to bail. It's not like he was ever going to commit to that challenge. And that decision-making that I've really been quite impressed with Zanil in terms of he applies pressure on the other team when he needs to, and if it's a bad decision, he just stops it and goes and does something far more valuable for his team. And it's been a great help, I think, in organizing the rotation of Torrent. As here we see Squishy towards Garrett G, and now he's trying to figure out if he can get anything going. Squishy so close to connecting on some bumps and demos. Justin has to buy time here in the midfield. Not sure if he's going to have too much support to actually score. As Kinsey able to work one through Squishy and secure the midfield boost. That could help a lot in stopping NRG from being able to actually pressure here. Justin comes up empty. There's the pressure from Squishy on the backfield. This one dangerously floating in front of the net. That one's off the crossbar again for NRG, and they will not find the opener in Game 3.
That's a good pick by Garrett G. Met by Zanil. Now Kinsey on his way back. Magic Bear stuck in the corner. Justin coming on. NRG picking up the aggression just a little bit. And Torrent struggling to deal with it. That's the adjustment now that Torrent has to make if they want to make a deeper run in this tournament. Magic Bear to Kinsey, intercepted by Justin, one-on-one with Zanil. You take Justin most of the time, but Zanil makes the stop. Justin didn't have a lot of momentum that he couldn't really leverage against Zanil. So he makes his way downfield, trying to get through 2. He has, but Kinsey too far back. And then Justin and Garrett pinched us all the way downfield. Magic Bear has a save that he made look a heck of a lot easier than it actually was.
And it got through 2 people as well, forced NRG to kind of poke it back midfield, and Torrent finally starting to work their way out of their own half here in the backside of Game 3. Maybe they start stitching a few extended stays on the orange half together. Who knows? It might take the lead here.
Well, it's Garrett G dancing around Zanil, but Magic Bear's right there with Justin coming on. Garrett gonna make the quick turn, and Kinsey was with him every step of the way. Magic Bear marking Squishy as well. Zanil blocks Garrett. And all 3 cars in the same place at the same time. Usually a recipe for disaster. And disaster almost struck off the crossbar. Squishy up to the ceiling after the block by Zanil. And that's a good touch by Kinsey. Getting that ball out of harm's way. Zanil coming in with an aggressive challenge. And it may have worked out. Made Garrett give it up. Magic Bear denied by Justin.
Oh, Justin, that's the consistency you love. He's been struggling a little bit offensively in this particular game. 0 for 6. To be fair, some of his chances have been quite difficult to actually turn into the net. Required perfection. But the defense is still rock solid as ever. That's been there since day 1.
This will deflect out to midfield. It's just a race to see who's got the better read. And that was neutral. Now here's Justin. Waterfall down, not happening. Big clear by Magic Bear. Zanil's up, so too is Garrett G. And this will kick all the way out across, and Kinsey's shot will be well wide. Justin, oh, that's a great touch to just control that ball. Zanil was coming on, but he knew he could still play another. Now Magic Bear up ahead to nobody in particular, so Justin will take this. He's beaten 2, but Zanil is right there with Kinsey able to turn. No, we go to overtime.
And NRG are not playing this as if they know they're going to be in control of the ball at all times. They're well aware that Torrent are kind of just parking the bus a little bit, saying, hey, you got to make a good play to beat us. And I think NRG may be starting to employ the mindset of, volume of shots is more likely to win us this than trying to stretch things and give up a counterattack because they're so solid. Nice tip back to Garrett G and Magic Bear. Just going to make sure that that one doesn't get through for free. So NRG, no matter the cost, I think, definitely going for ball control. Even Squishy right there, trying to gently catch it, keep it next to him, and take as much away from the opposition as possible. Big fake from Squishy, throws Magic Bear off. The timing of that approach could have been huge for Torrent, but what a big brain defense play from Squishy. And a takeaway. Oh, mama. There's the big outplay that NRG have been looking for. Huge takeaway. This dish from Garrett G, no chance. You think Justin's going to get that little kiss on it, tip it around you. Zanil, not a bad line, but absolutely cooked.
If anybody has ever questioned if Justin still has the Isonaut, first of all, you are certifiably insane. Second of all, 6 shots. He has the game winner here. He's got 2 game winners in a row in overtime for NRG as the general plays yet another overtime here in the 7-Eleven Slurpee Cup. This time, they come out on top. Again, they survive this scare from Torrent, and the shots are just crazy. 14-4 in favor of NRG. Torrent is having to work overtime to keep NRG at bay, and they're not getting many quality looks themselves.
That's the funny part, though. It's like they're not making it look too bad. Like, yeah, they're having to absorb a lot of pressure, but they are keeping it fairly tight in their rotation. They're not double committing too often. Or even really to a degree that it's damaging to how they want to play defense. I mean, the Torrent defense is pretty solid. It's surprising NRG hasn't had enough ball control to actually trap it on that dribble, try and open up some space when that demos. That hasn't really been an option for them just by the nature of how the challenges have played themselves out. And Torrent had, like you said, only 4 shots on target, but that one, they had the one-on-one against Justin, and Justin had to make a big stop. He doesn't make that save. Torrent's up 2-1 right now. Torrent is not thinking about, boy, how are we going to handle this NRG defense? Boy, we got to go out and take the ball away from them. They're saying, no, make a big play. We've got the rock solid on defense that you want to beat us. You're going to have to work for it. And Torrent are more than happy to play the occasional counterattack that has a high percentage of getting a decent look at the net.
This doesn't have a whole lot to do with the actual play on the field, but normally our lead admin is Mateo on the North American side. He's out today, so Falius is stepping in. And if you wonder why there are so many long overtimes in Europe, well, here we are. It's always his fault. Justin scoring early here, a rare early goal out of NRG, as Justin's now scored 3 straight in the series.
Oh, and that was perfection from Justin, too. That required a firm but gentle hand across the net to make sure you got it around Zanil, and Kensei thought he was safe and sound on the goal line because Zanil had a pretty solid line to track that one across the net, and well placed from Justin.
Justin throwing one across that Kensei barely got a piece of, and now NRG seems to have it rolling, and Torrent not getting the same quality touches they've been accustomed to. Squishy now with Garrett and Justin literally in park, waiting for Squishy to do something, and the Torrent defense scratching their heads wondering what his plan was. Now Garrett looking for a second touch. He's a decoy, and Squishy was starting to creep up. But Magic Bear keen to the play, so Squishy's got to do it the old-fashioned way, and his flip reset not true.
I like the idea there from NRG. You know what? You guys aren't going to go for the ball. We're not going to go for it either. We're going to trust our experience and veteran status to lead us to success when it comes to these awkward challenges. And now you might see Torrent start to try and press a little harder because they know that if they're down 1 this early, they'd like to take as many shots as they can and not have to rely on something at 0 seconds. And that's a huge demo. And Justin will collect another one.
Make that 4 in a row for Justin. He just keeps on scoring. Getting a lot of help from Garrett G that time, but Justin, just anytime there's something going for NRG, he seems to be at the center of it. And now he's become a force to be reckoned with, and Torrent does not have an answer.
Believe it or not, I find myself in the very rare position where I say 2 goals down, 3.5 minutes. I think Torrent might be out right here. I don't know if they really have a game plan to really try and attack all that speed from NRG. Well, 2 demos might do it, but look at how slow it took. Like that ball just kicked so suboptimally for the Torrent counterattack. Took way too much time to actually develop. Could have been something, but not with that bounce. Oh, and that's
that whiff is going to open the door for Garrett G. One save by Zanil, and then he'll let it go by for Justin to take over. Squishy again waiting, and there's the demo by Kinsey to take Justin out of the play. But he's already back in, and Garrett G will just take possession. Nobody got on the ball for Torrent. You know, that slow, methodical pace does not work when you're down 2 against this team. Squishy's pass maybe a little errant intended for Garrett G. And demos left, right, and center. Squishy with the double kill on his way through the rotation, but Torrent still on the attack. Everything just defies all logic right now in this series. Garrett G and Squishy on the back wall, and Zanil had his shot blocked away. Kinsey's there. Magic Bear, nothing doing as he had to wait for a moment. And that's a good ball out to Zanil. I don't think he trusted that there was any chance that ball was getting through.
Zanil certainly didn't think it was going to get through that cleanly, that's for sure. Nice little back pass, but Garrett G wisely going to let that one roll deep into the corner. They want the possession, try and take it away as much as possible, and that's not the touch you want from Squishy, but who knows? Garrett might stitch something together.
There is no shot clock in Rocket League. There's no obligation for NRG to pick up the pace at all. They've got the 2-goal lead. Torrent has to come at them. Garrett G is going to play this across where Magic Bear was in the vicinity, but he rotates out, so Kinsey's got to play it back in. And this is what NRG wants out of Torrent. Just throw it up to the backboard, easy clear. Throw it up to the backboard, another easy clear. They've got to get a lot more creative if they're going to make up, let alone 1 goal, 2 goals now. As Zanil played one to the back wall, nobody else is there, so Garrett G will slowly bring it out and force Torrent to burn resource to try and make NRG make a play.
And that's really where it might fall a little bit flat. You don't know if there's enough firepower on that Torrent offense to beat an elite level defense like NRG. As that's a tough bounce, but easy enough for Squishy. Rotated all the way back post. Now Zanil's got to buy a ton of time. And TikTok, I mean, they've been on that orange half, but they still only got 2 shots to show for it.
All reasonably close games the last time these two teams met. And finally, it looks like this streak of overtimes could be coming to an end. But Magic Bear got a demo, and then Justin comes up and single-handedly beats Zanil and Kinsey. And then Justin plays another one through, double commit out of Magic Bear and Zanil. That means more time not spent attacking the NRG net as it goes right back to the Torrent half. And Justin's got another clear out to the side where Kinsey has to chase it down. Zanil started to come out, and he just got back in time for the save to give Torrent just a sliver of hope that Garrett G might have snuffed out there. Magic Bear needs the win here. He's got it, but then nobody else to dive in for Torrent. Now down to 10 seconds left. Doesn't matter how much more defense they play if they can't score, and they won't. Time's going to run out on Torrent, and NRG has finally got it all figured out. Justin does it again. He scored the last 5 goals for NRG.
Yeah, nice touch here from Justin. I think Zanil initially hopping maybe to think about dodging a demo or maybe just let Justin bring the ball a little closer, but that was just enough. All the way into the top of the net, 3 straight, the hat trick for Justin. Oh, and now you kind of scratch your head if you're Torrent. You say, oh, I don't like that. We gave up the game a little too early. I thought they were down and out at 3.5 minutes. I'm going to say I was bang on right. 3 shots despite pushing over out of that orange half. And really when Torrent started trying to stretch themselves a little bit, they really started getting crushed in the boost control department. I mean, it was on Zanil's camera for the last minute. It was around 0 to 30 for a good 45 seconds. Even traveling around at max speed, there was just nothing around the pitch for him to try and make a play with in other avenues. And Torrent as a whole, that might be a small microcosm of the dynamic that their team is trying to operate under in that situation. That's tough.
I'm kind of looking around at all the different communication channels we have, and I don't see any timeout taken by Torrent as they find themselves on match point down 3-1 to the general NRG. They are going to have a go here without the TO. They're just going to go. There's nothing else to be said. No other adjustments to be made with any extra time. They're just going to roll the dice as we go to Wasteland and see if they can turn things around manually. Kinsey can stay with this off the kickoff, but Garrett G's got around him. Zanil will have Kinsey downfield, but he's got a lot to work with, and Justin makes the initial stop. Here's Zanil, blocked by Garrett G, and the lockdown defense continues with Justin, who's been an absolute nightmare for Torrent, now scoring the last 5 in the series, taken out by Kinsey.
And that's a good adjustment from Kinsey. I think they're trying to get a little more physical. They know that that's probably one of their best ways to at least give themselves space to work with. Huge pinch, and Magic Bear will collect Squishy Muffins. you can't really fault him for this one. I mean, rotates back post, doesn't have a lot of boost to handle, and that one, I mean, what are you going to do when it just pinches over his shoulder and you got no boost on the goal line? With a tip your cap and say, all right, fair enough, you guys are up 1.
Now, this is the first goal for Torrent since they opened up a 2-0 lead in game 2. It's been a while. Justin, blocked by Zanil, but there's Squishy to continue the play, and Magic Bear stuffs him out. So Garrett G has all day to grab boost and ball, and Kinsey not able to stop that wave of momentum. So now Zanil's got to take charge, and Justin just bouncing this right back. And NRG not concerned with the early goal. They've had that comeback potential. They showed it in game 2 when they scored 3 unanswered. Here goes Zanil. He's around Justin, but Squishy had that red the entire time. Justin just made him use the flip reset. He was not worried about losing the challenge. Magic Bear stuffed by Garrett G, and Torrent has to go all the way back to their own back line.
Really smart defense here from NRG. They know that they've definitely got enough in the tank to go through and put a lot of pressure on that Torrent defense considering the past couple of games. It's just a matter of can they find the right opening.
Justin will take one away from Kinsey and play one along the line, and Zanil's got the clear. Nobody diving in from NRG, not panicking, certainly at this point. Zanil at the back wall. Justin coming on as Squishy let him go. And Garrett G with a big bump on Zanil. Numbers advantage for NRG, but it's picked off by Magic Bear. Zanil open net, and he could not get around on a shot. Kinsey across to Magic Bear. It's still inviting, but Justin catches up.
I think Magic Bear makes the right choice, not trying to force that one. You definitely don't want to give up a counterattack with the potential to score if you miss, especially when you got the lead. And of course, Torrent knows they probably won't get too many looks on target. Right now, NRG struggling to actually find those, and Justin seeing if there's any opening on the backboard. Of course not. Zanil camped up there already.
Now Magic Bear going 1v1 with Squishy in the air. Also usually a losing proposition. Squishy's seen enough. Garrett G, sky one to the backboard. Here's Justin. Oh, he played it back a little ways, didn't get around on a shot. And now Squishy with the charging Kinsey just got rid of this ball in time. Here goes Justin for an equalizer, and Zanil stopped that too.
Oh, but he dropped his slippery step.
Oh, that's a giveaway, and oh, Kinsey just watched it go. It's off the crossbar and in. Garrett G ties it.
Oh, and he's got 100 boost too. I mean, Zanil drops it, and Kinsey starts heading forward because he thinks his teammate's going to have it, and Kinsey is just off the line, to be fair. I mean, when a player like Zanil dismounts off the backboard, you don't think they're just going to drop their touch. And so he starts heading forward to try and play a little bit of support, and oh, unlucky goal to give up. Mechanical error going to cost him big.
Justin indirect around 1, and Kinsey's got to make a quick turn on this side of the corner. He can't, so Zanil will pop it away. 8 of the last 9 goals in this series scored by NRG. Most of them by that guy, Justin, bangs another home.
I mean, this one just goes from bad to worse right there. If your Torrent gets crushed on the challenge, and Magic Bear again starting to head off the goal line, thinking maybe we're going on to offense, and then just smashed over your head off the backboard with pace. And if anyone's going to make you sweat on the goal line, it's Justin. Great shot towards the baseline.
We're getting towards the summer months, and the heat is picking up, certainly on the pitch as well. Kinsey with Zanil waiting. His shot deflected by Garrett G. Squishy will take charge through the corner, and Magic Bear stopped him in his tracks. Garrett G not allowed to follow the play either. And Zanil got around Garrett, but not around Justin. Again, that first challenge, not the one you got to worry about. It's the second one coming from NRG. The tandem defense stopping Torrent in their tracks again. They trail by 1 in a game they must win. Squishy and Magic Bear almost got caught up on the wall. And Kinsey trying to go around Justin and went off of him and allowed Garrett to get a touch sooner to disrupt the attack. Justin may have given it away. No, he stays with the play and stopped Magic Bear from getting a shot.
Ooh, opportunity. Big demo for Justin. Yep. And that's... Oh, but it skips across. Kinsey. Great pass. Oh, and Garrett G. That guy has been around the block too many times to get crossed up by that. What a display of understanding of how that entire sequence is going to play out. Kinsey, can you give an opportunity? Zanil thinking Justin's going to clip it, and huge waste of time here for Torrent.
It felt like it had been a whole star date before somebody had actually touched the ball. Now Garrett G. just deep into the corner, wasting more time. It's Torrent that has to score to prolong the game and the series. as Squishy plays one out to the side. Zanil trying to pop away, trying to thread a needle with the oncoming attackers. And it's Justin stopped by Magic Bear, and Kinsey has to take charge. No time for hero ball now for Torrent. They've got to have clear comms. 15 seconds. Zanil stuffed by Garrett. Magic Bear up a little slow, and Justin couldn't get it away cleanly. Down to 7 seconds. Zanil to the corner. Oh, and a double commit between Zanil and Magic Bear. They got caught up with Magic Bear rotating out. Ball touches down, and NRG survives finally to return to Championship Sunday.
You know what? Good show from NRG. That's what you see when you realize that you've kind of been dropping the ball a little bit. You go out there, get pushed around a little bit early on in the series, and then you show, you know what, we've got the experience. We know what we're capable of. They come out there, they lock that series down in fairly convincing fashion. And if you're Torrent, I think you can hang your head high. This obviously was an opportunity to try and make a big top four, earn a lot of points towards maybe heading towards that London major, but definitely looks like they need a little more time to piece it all together in the way that NRG has it all figured out. So great show from both teams, but indeed the favorite going to win out here.
You only get 3 shots to earn points to march towards that spring major in London. So Torrent, as you mentioned, Chiefs, they're going to have a lot of work to do now in the next regional in just a couple weeks' time. NRG, their task gets a little bit simpler. They get to wait now, and you can see the relief on the face of Squishy and Garrett after their first series. More smiles this time around. They're done until Championship Sunday, but we are not. We got one more match for you. Version 1, taking on Complexity. Last life for the Vamos squad. We'll be back with it right after this.